say of Yah, he is my refuge and my fortress, protects me from the wicked's deadly ordinance. Snake's master psychology, phony people studying fakeology. Yah seed, I'm a god, it's not ego. Psalms 82 verse 6, even JC know who be me. Lion face crew be deep, soldiers for Yah, screw these streets in front like the heat goat. That's how I leap, waiting on the master. In the meantime, studying for my masters, building houses, growing college, sharpen my sword, and I'm cutting up scholars, raising my sons, searching for the wife. Yah, I pray he find a virtuous one, stand for justice, relieve the oppressed. Call on Yah, deliver the fatherless, let Israel be blessed.
Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up. I'm strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, he came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. 'Cause every time we gon' get up. When I call, he came and saved me.
Yo, when the poor oppress the poor, it's like the sweeping rain, leaving no food, just pain. But Yah's name I exclaim, feed my brethren wisdom. Yah willing, he will do the same. Shame and calamity on my family, trapped in captivity. Many years ago, holding the calico, never know how my light glowed till I stepped through them 2 doors. Left church, cause that was just fool's gold. My eyes the color of onyx, Yah's message came to me as clear as you telephonically alerting me. He opened the scrolls and fed his word to me. Now I must give to those hope lost whose spirit is froze. The knowledge of how they conquer their foes. Enemies be hatred of self. Something dangerous like this crack is
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, he came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. 'Cause every time we gon' get up. When I call, he came and saved me. Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up. I'll be strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, he came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. Every time we gon' get up. When I call, he came and saved me. Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up. I'll be strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, he came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. Every time we gon' get up. When I call, he came and saved me. Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous, Yah is holy, and let Yahweh be magnified. Once again, the Creator has allowed us to come before you another day, bringing to you his great, holy, and exalted words, even the words of truth. My name is Mowreh IshYAH YIsraEL of the house of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 1907 Vine Street, bringing to you nothing but the truth. And yes, it is true. All we're going to do is tell you the truth, for Yah ordained me to tell you the truth, and this is what I'm going to do. And who is this Yah? Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. Yah is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yah is our king. He's our judge. He's our lawgiver. And Yah is our only savior, and not just of Israel. Yahweh is the savior of the world. And again, I praise the Most High Yah once again for allowing us to bring his great, holy, and exalted words to you this day. Yesterday, we finished up with the 7 everlasting covenants that Yahweh will make with his people, the children of Israel. And we started on our next teaching, which is how Yahweh has said, talked about, discussed, spoken out of his mouth, how he will redeem his people. And this is what I found. I found 7 different ways that Yahweh said he would save his people, redeem his people from destruction. And one of the things that we brought to you in dealing with this matter, the very first thing we brought to you is the first way that Yahweh said he will redeem his people. And I may add, it's the first way, it's the chief way, the head way, the beginning way that Yahweh will redeem his people. And this is very important to know. Let me show you why this is important, even before we get right to this subject matter. Excuse me. In the book of Jeremiah, the 9th chapter, in the book of Jeremiah, the 9th chapter, this is what it says. The 23rd verse. Thus says Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glories glory in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, says Yahweh. And so these are the things that Yahweh wants you to know about him. And the very first thing Yahweh wants you to know about is his loving kindness. And what do you think his loving kindness is? His loving kindness is his mercies. And I just want to recap on his mercies real quick, because every day our people are waking up mad, waking up with problems and issues, waking up with controversy, waking up with hate and anger in their heart, their mind, and even their spirits. Our people would do exactly the opposite of what Yahweh said he delighted in. The very essence of who he is and the very thing he wants you to know about him is what he execute in the earth. And what is this thing? His mercy. So why wouldn't the person who's seeking after righteousness wake up to the undeniable truth that the only reason they woke up is because of Yahweh's mercies. If that won't make you rejoice, if that won't make you praise his name, but yet you will supersede his mercies, and think about yourself. I just want you to see some things what Yahweh delight in. Now, this is not going to affect everybody. Some people will hear this and they will continue on doing what they do. And then some people will hear it and they will act on it. This is what Yahweh said, and I want you to see that. But watch what the scriptures say in the book of Isaiah 63. And we're recounting on his mercy because there's no doubt that it is his mercy that we need to know about. And I just want you to see why. In the book of Isaiah 63, the 7th verse, watch what it says. It says, I will mention the loving kindness of Yahweh. And what is his loving kindness? Well, it's his mercy. And the praises of Yahweh. I'm not just going to mention his loving kindness. I'm going to mention his praises. According to all that Yahweh has bestowed on us. And the great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he has bestowed on them according to his mercies and according to the multitude of his loving kindness. That's what Yahweh. So here, what is the prophet is letting us know? That we have to be about talking about mentioning Yahweh's mercies, which is his loving kindness. And just imagine if that's is something that you would do. Imagine if you concern yourself with this thing. What you will have time for and what you will not have time for. Oftentimes we spend our time talking about our vengeance, our anger, our problems, issues. And we never get to Yahweh's mercies. It's never mentioned, never talked about, never exalted, never praised. Look in the book of Psalms 145. And this is the chief thing. It's really the number one thing that you should be talking about. Even upon your rising. Excuse me. Psalm 145. The 8th verse. Yahweh is gracious, full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahweh is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. They're over all his works. All your works shall praise you, O Yahweh, and your saints shall bless you. This is Yahweh's mercies because it's over all his works. Everything that Yahweh would do, everything he would touch, you will find the mercies of Yahweh. This is why his mercy is so important. This is why it's so important to know his mercies. And just a couple more scriptures I want you to see. Because in the end, what do all this mean? Knowing the mercies of Yahweh. And watch this in the book of Psalms 18. What do this thing mean? What do it all mean? Well, let me show you what it means. "21st verse. For I've kept the ways of Yahweh, and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim." Because ain't no sense of talking about his mercies when you don't keep his way. Watch what it says. "For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore," you notice it said he kept himself from his iniquity. You know what your iniquity is when you get all angry and you start sinning. You know what your iniquity is when you do something presumptuously that you know you shouldn't do. You know what your iniquity is. You know how you can just run out the mouth, allow things to rest on your spirit and then in your heart, and next thing you know it turns into grudges. Next thing it turns into hate against your brother. Next thing it turns into vengeance and revenge. See, David kept himself from his iniquity. But here are people, they do not. And how can you expect the mercies of Yahweh when you don't do this? Watch what it says. "Therefore has Yahweh recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight." This is what Yahweh did. Because watch the 25th verse. "With the merciful, you will show yourself merciful." How deep is that? "And with the upright man, you will show yourself upright. With the pure, you will show yourself pure. And with the perverse, you will show yourself shrewd. For you will save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks." Now do you understand why you must know the mercies of Yahweh? Yeah, I see why I must know it. In the book of 2 Samuel. Turn there. Just recapping. A couple more scriptures on this. "Where is your mercy, Israel?" 2 Samuel 22. "But yet, you show yourself, and then when Yahweh recompense you with that same thing, you want to know why. Well, that's what you're sowing. The scriptures say, sow unto yourself righteousness and reap in mercy." Reap in mercy. That's the only way you reap mercy. You got to sow righteousness. 2 Samuel 22, 21st verse. And this is the same as Psalms. So I just go right to the 26th verse. With the merciful, you will show yourself merciful. With the upright man, you will show yourself upright. With the pure, you will show yourself pure. And the perverse, you will show yourself unsavory. What you're saying the same exact thing, because it was said by David. And the last scripture is in the book of 2 Chronicles. The 30th chapter. The 7th verse. It says, and be not you like your fathers and like your brethren, which trespass against Yahweh, Elohim of their fathers, who therefore gave them up to desolation, as you see. And we see it today. Now, be you not stiff-necked, as your fathers were, but yield yourselves unto Yahweh. Enter into his sanctuary, which he has sanctified forever. Serve Yahweh your Elohim, that the fierceness of his wrath may turn away from you. For if you turn again unto Yahweh, your brethren, your children shall find compassion before them that lead them captive. How else will we get compassion from our enemies? So that they shall come again into this land. For Yahweh, your Elohim, is a gracious and merciful, and will not turn away his face from you if you return to him. And Yahweh is not going to allow you to return to him unless you learn to know him. And to know Yahweh, you have to know that he executes loving kindness in the earth. You got to know his mercy. He is merciful to those that are merciful. And you're not merciful when you're angry all the time. Just imagine if Yahweh is angry all the time. We would be burnt up. Just imagine if Yahweh is forward all the time, we will be dead. Just imagine Yahweh is quick to anger instead of slow to anger. Just imagine if it only took one thing or two things for Yahweh to turn his back. Even when our people was in the wilderness, he said, you've tempted me these 10 times. At least it took 10 times. He gave Pharaoh an opportunity. 10 plagues. He could have just destroyed him in one. And every day he's given our people more chances than they deserve. But at some point in time, Yahweh will cash in and recompense you according to your own ways, whether that be righteous or whether that be wicked. Yahweh's mercy, it's in everything. This is what you have to know. That's number one. But what is number two on the board? How Yahweh will redeem you, how Yahweh will save you according to his word. And a lot of people, you're just not being saved one type of way, because everybody is not like Noah, Daniel, and Job. And let me read to you about these three men. so you can understand why this is so important. In the book of Ezekiel, the 14th chapter, Ezekiel 14. The 22nd verse. Or not the 22nd verse, but Ezekiel 14. Let's we'll start at the 12th verse. It said, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the land sins against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out my hand upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it. And little do people know, people don't even know how the land will sin against Yahweh. And we'll go over that. Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, said Yahweh. That's what happened when the land sins. Watch what it says. If I cause noisome beasts to pass through the land, and they spoil it so that it's desolate, that no man may pass through because of the beast. Though these three men were in it, as I live, says Yah, they shall deliver neither sons nor daughters. They only shall be delivered, but the land shall be desolate. Or if I bring a sword upon that land and say, sword, go through the land, so that I cut off man and beast from it. Though these three men were in it, as I live, says Yah, they shall deliver neither sons nor daughters, but they only shall be delivered themselves. Or if I send a pestilence in that land, and pour out my fury upon it in blood, to cut off from it man and beast. Though Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, as I live, says Yahweh, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter. They shall but deliver their own souls by their righteousness. In other words, these are men that actually did enough, showed Yahweh enough to save themselves by their own righteousness. But what we're showing you is how Yahweh said he will save you, not by your righteousness, not for your sake, but the first thing for his mercy's sake. And the second way that Yahweh has proposed to save our people is in the book of Ezekiel 36. And let's see, since we're in Ezekiel, let's see if you are familiar with this in Ezekiel 36. Because the only way you're going to get somewhere with the Most High, you have to have the knowledge of Elohim. The scripture says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. It is knowledge that you got to have. It is knowledge that has to be increased in you, that you might be saved. In Ezekiel 36, watch what this says. And we're going to start reading at the 16th verse. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. And that's real bad. That's terrible. Therefore, I pour my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols which they have polluted. Excuse me. Excuse me. That season. We had Ezekiel 36 talking about the second thing that Yahweh was used to save his people. I'm going to read that 18th verse again. I pour my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, for their idols with which they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries, according to their way and according to their doing. I judged them. And here it is today. Many of our people who believe they are Yehudanites don't realize that Yahweh scattered them to the worst of the heathens, to the furthest most part of the earth. Matter of fact, to the four corners of the earth. So they had to be really, really bad, because Yahweh sent them so far away, he didn't want to see them at all. But we're Yehuda, and you was the worst. In the 20th verse. And when they entered to the heathen, where they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. Don't y'all see how bad that is? Here it is. We see Israelites today, and the way they act, you say, man, these are the people of Yahweh? These are the ones who saying, look at them, look how they look. Look at their faces. I'm not talking about the people who don't know Yahweh. I'm talking about those who say they know Yahweh, but yet acting like a heathen. Not representing Yahweh. Why do you think he gave you the name of YIsraEL? So that you can represent his name. And here it is. You're supposed to be representing the name of Yahweh to your family, to your children, and to the inhabitants of the earth. But they not seeing Yahweh in you. Watch what it says. These are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. And watch the 21st verse, which is number 2. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. And how did they do that? Saying they the people of Yahweh, saying they serve Yahweh, saying let Yahweh be magnified, but their actions is showing something different than what their words are saying. Therefore, say to the house of Israel, thus says Yahweh, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which you have profaned among the heathen, whether you went. In other words, he don't do what? He's going to tell you what he's not going to do for your sake. 23rd verse. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, says Yahweh Elohim, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. How are you going to do this, Yahweh? 24th verse. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all the countries and will bring you into your own land. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness, from all your idols, will I cleanse you. And we talked about the new covenant. Watch what it says, 26th verse. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, cause you to walk in my statutes. You shall keep my judgments and do them. Now you see what Yahweh will do? Yeah, this is what he will do. Why? For his holy name's sake. Not for your sake, O Israel, but for his holy name's sake. In other words, everything has Yahweh's mercy in it. Everything we read, whether it's his holy name or anything else, it has and contains Yahweh's mercy. But then there are certain things that Yahweh get right to the point. I'm doing this for my name's sake. And did Yahweh mean for his name's sake? Yes, he do. And why? Because you polluted his name. And so Yahweh is specific when he's dealing with his name. And we don't know how great his name is. According to the scriptures, according to the law, according to the covenant of Yahweh, and according to the 10 Commandments, the scripture says, thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy Elohim in vain. For Yahweh thy Elohim will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain. And I'm going to show you how the mass majority of the people have, will, is taking Yahweh's name in vain. Many of them know they are, and some of them don't. But either way, I'm going to show you what Yahweh will do as a result of his great name. Look also, since we're in Ezekiel, how Yahweh will sanctify his great name in the midst of the heathens in the book of Ezekiel 39. And why is he going to do this? Not for your sakes, Israel, but for his holy name's sake. In the book of Ezekiel 39, starting at verse 6. It says, and I will send a fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. That's out. That's over with. That's done with. And when I do this, the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One in Israel. Why do you think we wear the name of YIsraEL? Because this is Yahweh's name that he gave us. And Yahweh is going to sanctify his holy name. And the way he will do it is by saving his people. But he's not going to do it for your sake. He's going to do it for his holy name's sake. Now, does that mean everybody is going to be saved as a result of Yahweh's holy namesake? And no, it does not. This is an error and a misnomer. Let me show you what Yahweh would do as a result of his name. This is why it is so vitally important to know the knowledge of Elohim. Because if you don't have this knowledge, if you don't know this knowledge, you better get it. Because when Judgment Day comes, I pray that you have witnesses that will stand up for you. Watch what this says in the book of Malachi, the very first chapter. We're talking about the very second way that Yahweh will save his people. Some people under the impression that they can treat Yahweh any kind of way, call Yahweh any kind of thing, don't have to keep the law, don't have to keep the commandments, don't have to know the covenants, and yet they're going to be saved. Well, Yahweh said, thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy Elohim in vain. For Yahweh will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain. What in the world do you think this means? Well, let me tell you what it means to me. That if you don't learn to honor the great name of Yahweh, you're going to be found guilty. You're going to be found guilty. Make no mistake about it. And this is what you need to know. You to see something in the book of Malachi. Let's read this first. Malachi, the 4th chapter. And we're going to start at the very first verse. I want you to look at this real closely. And then after you read it, I want you to meditate on it real good. And watch what it says. Because we're talking about the second way that Yahweh has proposed to save you. And that's his holy namesake. But how's that going to be done? Watch this in the book of Malachi, the 4th chapter, the 1st verse. For behold, the day comes that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yes, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that comes shall burn them up. Here it is. You got the heathens talking about global warming. They saying it's getting too hot. It's melting the glaciers. It's getting too hot. And things is happening in the earth that's going on because of the temperatures. And it's causing the oceans to do certain things. It's causing just everything to warm up. And of course, our people and many of the inhabitants of the earth, they say this is crazy talk. But maybe they not as crazy as you may believe. Because watch what it says again. For behold, the day comes that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, Yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that comes shall burn them up, says Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. And watch what it says. But unto you that fear name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go forth as calves of the stall, and you shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, says Yahweh of. So what is this saying? There'll be one day where Yahweh start burning up. I mean, it'll be so hot that people will turn into ashes. Have you ever turned on the dial on your oven? Dial called clean up. And it gets so hot, just everything in the oven, it burns it to ashes. In other words, it's cleaning it up. And all you got to do is sweep the ashes out. Well, this is what Yahweh's saying. He's not going to do in the oven. He's going to do in the earth. And who will be the ashes? And who will be walked on, and tread down, and ashes under the sole of your feet? The wicked. Yes, all that do proudly. But unto you that fear my name, that same heat, that same sun, that same day that's burning hot will heal you in his wings. Because even the sun that Yahweh made will know who the righteous is. Ain't that something? That even the sun will know who the righteous is, will heal them, know who the wicked is, and will kill them. Why? Because of his holy name. Here it is. Some people refuse to call upon Yah's name. They will call him G-O-D when they know that's not his name. They will call him L-O-R-D and they know that's not his name. They know the Creator's name was snatched from many of these religious books. And they will tell you the name that was snatched from these books is the name of Yahweh. But they will disregard that. But how can you disregard the Most High? Call him that. How can you disregard the Almighty? I mean, Most High, who higher than him? The Almighty, who more mightier than him? Use that. Call upon that name. But don't take his name in vain and then expect him to save you, redeem you for his holy name's sake. And you purposely, presumptuously went against his name. Do that make sense to you? Since we're in Malachi, the second chapter, the very first verse. And watch what it says. And now, O you priests, this commandment is for you. If you will not hear, and if you will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, says Yahweh of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yes, I've cursed them already because you do not lay it to heart. I know you think he's just talking about the sons of Levi, but little do people know we are a kingdom of priests. The things he wants us to hear, the things he wants us to lay to heart is to give glory to his name. And you can't give glory to his name. What makes you think he's going to redeem you, save you for his holy name's sake? Yahweh is so peculiar about his great name. Watch what he said in Malachi, the 1st chapter, the 11th verse. Watch how this reads. For from the rising of the sun, even to the going down of the same. You notice it didn't say from the evening to the morning, or from the evening until evening. No, that's not what Yahweh said. He said from the rising of the sun, even to the going down of the same. My name shall be great among the Gentiles. And in every place, not just Jerusalem, not just Mount Zion, but in every place, incense shall be offered unto my name, and a pure offering. For my name shall be great among the heathens, says Yahweh of hosts. Here it is. You got people burning incense today. Not the Yahweh name. They just burning it because monkey see, monkey do. You seen your enemies do it. You seen the other nations do it. So you doing it. Not even realizing what you're doing. Just a copycat. Did Yahweh teach you to burn incense to anything other than himself? Did he teach you to burn it to yourself? No, Yahweh didn't teach you that. But watch in the future. Yahweh said, in every place shall incense be burnt unto his great name. Because that's what incense is supposed to be burnt to anyway. Who do you think made incense? Yahweh. That's why it's so important to have the knowledge of Elohim. And let me show you how the mass majority of our people is taking Yahweh's name in vain. Watch this in the book of Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter. Deuteronomy 18. And watch what this says. And I'm going to start reading at the 18th verse. Well, let's start at the 16th verse. 15th verse. There we go. Yahweh your Elohim will raise up to you a prophet from the midst of you, of your brother, like unto me. Unto him you shall listen. according to all that you desired of Yahweh, your Elohim and Horeb. In the day of assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh my Elohim, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. And Yahweh said to me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto you, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass, that whoever will not listen to my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak. And a lot of people are speaking things that Yahweh did not command them to speak. All kind of things. Yahweh didn't command this thing. If Yahweh commanded this thing, show me where Yahweh said this thing. That's how simple it is. Show me. And then once you see that Yahweh have not commanded this thing that you are doing, watch what it says. But the prophet, which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or thou shalt speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. This is nothing to play with, brothers and sisters. And if you say in your heart, well, how shall we know the word which Yahweh has not spoken? When a prophet speaks in the name of Yahweh, if the thing follows not nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yahweh has not spoken. But the prophet has spoken it presumptuously. You shall not be afraid of him. And how do you know the things that Yahweh how can you know whether this thing follows not nor come to pass? How do you know this thing? Well, that's why you got to have the knowledge of Elohim. For the scripture says, I'll just read it to you. In the book of Ecclesiastes, let us turn there, the 3rd chapter. I just want you to see, how do you know the thing that Yahweh will do and whether the thing will come to pass or not? Watch what it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the 14th verse. I know that whatever Elohim does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And Elohim does it, that men shall fear before him. That which has been is now. So all you got to do is look at what Yahweh did before. That's now. How can you mess that up? And that which is to be has already been. And how can you mess that up? In other words, the things that's coming is already been done. And Elohim requires that which is past. So when people start talking about the sun and the moon coming, dropping out of heaven, when did Yahweh do that? Yahweh ain't never did nothing like that. People talking about a man going to be in the grave 3 days and 3. When did Yahweh do that? Yeah, show us that. We just, so many things we say, Yahweh said this, and Yahweh said that, and Yahweh ain't said none of the things that our people are talking about. And all they have to do is show you. We're talking about how Yahweh will redeem and save his people. And we're dealing with the second thing. And what is this? For his holy name sake. Let me show you this. Go to the book of Psalms 115. Because once you get the knowledge of Elohim, and once you begin to learn how to have vision, for the scriptures say, where there is no vision, the people perish. But happy is he to keep the law. You got to have vision. And having vision is knowing the knowledge of Elohim. In the book of Psalms 115, the first verse, not unto us, O Yahweh, not unto us, but unto your name give glory. Why, Yahweh? For your mercy and for your true sake. See, we got to give glory to Yahweh's name, because it's not unto us. How many times Yahweh have to make this crystal clear? Then we will begin to just stop trying to satisfy self and be more ready to satisfy Yahweh. In the book of Psalms 109. Watch what it says. The 21st verse. It says, but do you for me, O Yahweh, the Master, for your name's sake, because your mercy is good, deliver you me. Please, Yahweh, do it for your name's sake. Don't even look at me. Think upon your name to help me. And what about Psalms 106? Watch what it says. Now, I love this verse also. And watch what it says. 6th verse. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity, and we have done wickedly. Our fathers understood not your wonders in Egypt. They didn't even understand them. They remembered not the multitude of your mercies, but both him at the sea, even at the Red Sea. Nevertheless, even though they did all that, he saved them for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power to be known. In other words, he wanted his power to be known in the earth. So in spite of the foolishness of our fathers, Yahweh saved them. But it wasn't for their sakes. It was for his holy name's sake. And this is what we're trying to let you know. How Yahweh will redeem you and save you. But make no mistake about it. Don't think Yahweh is going to do this for his name's sake, and you refuse to bring glory to his great name. Watch this in Psalm 23. Did not Yahweh say he'll be merciful unto those that are merciful? Yahweh is looking for someone to fear his name. And if you refuse to fear his name, then how can you even have the expectations of being saved by his holy name's sake? Psalm 23. First verse. Yahweh is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in the green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. And watch what it says. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Here it is. A bunch of people may be righteous. But why are you righteous? It's for his holy name's sake. So his name can be great in the earth. Not your name, his name. Now he will make your name great as a result of your righteousness. But you don't get it twisted. It's for his name's sake. Still dealing with order number 2 of how Yahweh will redeem and save his people. And let's see what prophecies say about Yahweh and his name. Go to the book of Micah. And this is prophecy. Starting at the 7th verse. Six. We're going to read Micah, the 6th chapter, the 7th verse.
Woe is me. For
Micah 6 and 7.
Will Yahweh be pleased with the thousands of rams, with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn born for my transgression, and the fruit of my body for sin of my soul?
Is that what Yahweh wants? Is that what he's trying to get you to do? Is that, do you think that's the way of Yahweh? 8th verse.
He hath shown me, O man, what is good.
What is good?
And what doeth Yah require of thee? But to do justly.
But to do justly.
And to love mercy.
You got to love mercy.
And to walk humbly with my Elohim, with thy Elohim.
And watch this 9th verse, because this is the key.
Yahweh's voice crieth unto the city.
He's crying out to the city.
And the man of wisdom shall see thy name.
Look, and when Yahweh cried to the city, it says the man of wisdom shall see your name. It's not even an argument. It's not even a debate. He's going to see your name.
Hear ye the rod and who hath appointed it.
Yeah, hear you the rod and who has appointed. And what is the rod if it's not Yahweh's word? That's what the rod is. And these are the things that we got the knowledge we got to have. The man of wisdom, he's gonna see your name. Some people, what, did you have a dream that Yahweh speak to you and told you his name? No, the man of wisdom gonna see his name. Watch this. Watch what it says in Micah, the 4th chapter. Turn there. And we're going to start reading at the very first verse.
But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahweh shall be established in the top of the mountain, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, Come, let us go unto the mountain of Yahweh, and to the house of Elohim of Yaakov. And he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem.
And you notice it said, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahweh shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And what will they do? 3rd verse.
And he shall judge among many peoples, and rebuke the strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be a time of peace. This is in the last days now. And when there's a time of peace, let's see what's going to happen. The 4th verse.
But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree.
In other words, there's going to be so much peace that it says, but they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree.
And none shall make them afraid.
Nobody will make them afraid.
For the mouth of Yahweh of hosts have spoken it.
But after they sitting under this tree, nobody will make them afraid. No harm will come to them. It won't be any more war. Sword will not be against sword. And now they sitting chilling under their fig tree, their vine tree. But what will be the state of the condition of the people at that time? Watch what it says in the 5th verse.
For all people
will
walk everyone in the name of his God.
In other words, everybody, all people, will walk everyone in the name of his God.
And we will walk in the name of Yahweh, our Elohim, forever and ever.
Don't you see how Yahweh did not tell you? These are 7 ways that Yahweh will redeem his people, the children of Israel. We showed you the first way, by his mercy's sake. And we're telling you the second way, by his holy name, for his holy name's sake. This is what Yahweh will do. And even in the last days, Yahweh will allow people to walk in the name of their deity, their idol, their falsehood. But not us. We will walk in the name of Yahweh, our Elohim, forever and ever. Why? Because we are the ones who Yahweh gave his name to. And since Yahweh gave us his name, Since Yahweh said we polluted his name, and since Yahweh said he will save us for his holy name's sake, this is what Yahweh wants us to know about his name in the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter. Zechariah 14, and watch what it says in the 9th verse.
And Yahweh shall be king over all the earth.
Yahweh is going to be king over all the earth.
In that day,
In that day,
there be one Yah,
there's only going to be one Yahweh.
and his name one.
And his name one. They want to know what his name is. His name one. How many times Yahweh got to say, Shema YIsraEL, Yah Eloheinu, Yah Echad, before we get to the understanding that Yahweh is one. And not just he's one, his name one. There's no Yahweh the Son, Yahweh the Holy Ghost, Yahweh the Spirit. Yahweh is one. There's no assembly of Yahwehs, nations of Yahwehs. People is Yahweh, period, is one. We must have the knowledge of Elohim. And I can understand why our people are in such gross darkness. Look, Yahweh have to ask certain questions in the scriptures just to see if you know it or not. And depending on who you ask, they're not going to know it. Watch what it asks the people who will read this book in the book of Proverbs 30. Watch what this says. And start reading at the 4th verse.
Who have ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who have gathered the wind in his fist?
Who have ascended up into heaven or descended? Can you answer that? Who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who did that?
Who have bound the waters in a garment?
Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who did that?
Who has established all the ends of the earth?
Yeah, Yahweh want to know who has established all the ends of the earth.
What is his name?
Here it is. We're talking about the second way Yahweh will save his people. But he got to ask you, what is his name?
And what is his son's name?
And what is his son's name?
If thou could tell.
If thou canst tell. That should be a no-brainer. But it is not. And why? Because Yahweh's name has and will be and is taken in vain. Still to this day, we refuse to fear Yahweh and tremble at his word. And you cannot tremble at the word of Yahweh without knowing his name, because it is his name that establishes his word. It is his name that establishes everything that he will do. The only reason his people are established is because of his name. Watch this in the book of Isaiah. In the book of Isaiah, I think it's going to be 40, 43. Let me look real quick. But go to 43. Yeah. Watch this. Isaiah 43. Fourth verse.
Since thou was precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life.
Yeah, that's what Yahweh would do. That's how much love he have for you. He will give men for you and people for your life.
Fear not,
Fear not.
for I am with thee,
Uh-huh.
and I will bring thy seed from the east, and gather thee from the west.
Because he's talking to a scattered people. He's talking to a people that is not in their land. A people that was sold far from their land. Watch what he said in the 6th verse.
I will say to the north,
Say to the north,
give up,
give them up. And to the south,
keep not back.
don't keep not my sons back. Go ahead.
Bring my sons from far,
Bring them from far.
and my daughters from the end of the earth.
Yeah, bring them home. And who is he talking to? 7th verse.
Even everyone that is called by my name.
And even everyone that is called by my name.
For I have created him
I the one created him.
for my glory.
For my glory.
I have formed
I
him.
formed him.
Yea, I have made him.
And I have made him, because you got some silly people say he created something in the 1st chapter and then he formed something in the 2nd chapter. Well, he not only created, he formed, he made, he did it all. Because there is none beside him. None. At all. And there's nothing you can do without the name of Yahweh. This is how Yahweh established everything. And watch this. I want you to see this so you can see exactly how even to this day, our people are still taking Yahweh's name in vain. And Yahweh will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain. Watch what he says in the book of Isaiah 44:1. Yes.
Yet now hear, O Yaakov, my servant, and YIsraEL, whom I have chosen. Thus saith Yahweh, that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Yaakov, my servant, and thou Yeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and the floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessings upon thy offspring, and they shall spring up as among the grass,
This is how you know they're going to spring up, because they're going to spring up among the grass.
as willows by the watercourses.
And how are you going to know who they are? Watch the 5th verse.
One shall say, I am Yah's,
One will say, I am Yahweh.
and another shall call himself by the name of Yaakov.
And another shall call himself by the name of Yaakov.
And another shall subscribe himself with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself by the name of YIsraEL.
Did y'all just see that? Did you just read that? And another shall subscribe. What that means? That means to write. With his hand unto the heathens? No. Unto your parents? No. Unto your brothers? No. To your friends? No. They shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahweh. And surname, what is your surname? Ain't that your last name? Ain't that your main name? Ain't that the name your seed get carried on? And surname himself by the name of YIsraEL. Who fulfilling that? Who's doing that? Who's talking about that? who is fearing that. You think Yahweh will have you just go around calling yourself a heathen all your life? Or will Yahweh do great things with you as he did with Abram, to change his name to Abraham? And why? Because of the relationship he has with him. Or Isaac, who named him Yahweh. Or Jacob, whose name was changed to YIsraEL. These are the things that Yahweh will do. And then after Yahweh will give you a name, bless that name, give power in that name, make you a prince in that name, you would take that name in vain, not wear it, not use it, but misuse it, as many of our people are doing this day. And you say you don't take the name of Yahweh, thy Elohim, in vain. And here it is, Yahweh sent his messengers to speak his word in his name. But you don't regard the words of Yahweh. He never told you to concern yourself with the prophet other than the fact whether they were speaking in his name, or whether they were speaking in the name of other deities. In other words, it's all about the message. And why aren't we taking heed to the message? Not the messenger, but the message itself. And why? Because the message is about Yahweh. And one of the last scriptures I want to show you, this one is in 1 Samuel. The 17th chapter. And I want you to start reading the 41st verse. 1 Samuel 17 and 41. Just to show you how great Yahweh's name is.
And the Philistine came and drew near unto David. And the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog, that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David unto the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword.
You come to me with a sword.
And with a spear.
With a spear.
And with a shield.
And with a shield.
But I come forth to thee in the name of Yahweh of
I
hosts.
come to you in the name of Yahweh of hosts.
The Elohim of the armies of YIsraEL, who thou didst defy. This day will Yahweh deliver thee unto my hand, and I will smite thee, and take thy head from thee. And I will give the carcasses of hosts of the Philistine this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is an Elohim in YIsraEL. And all the assembly shall know Yahweh saveth not with sword and spear.
Yeah, Yahweh don't need a sword or a spear.
For the battle is Yahweh's.
The battles is Yahweh's.
And he will give you unto our hands.
And we're going to go over that a little bit more to show you that the battle is Yahweh's. It is every battle, every fight. Why do you think Yahweh said, vengeance belong unto Yahweh? Because everything is not for you. It's not for you. So you get mad and you don't even know who bring this. You upset. You won't show no mercy. But all this is of Yahweh. And when are we going to learn? When will we have the knowledge of Elohim? When will we begin to show forth our knowledge and our wisdom? We bear the name of YIsraEL. The heathens is already saying, are these the people of Yahweh that have come forth out of the land? What will we represent? How low will we pollute Yahweh's holy name? Well, I'm here to tell you. Until you fear his name. And all through the scriptures, it talk about fearing his great name. Only then can you have the expectations of being saved by his holy name's sake. So until tomorrow, Yahweh love you. And so do I. Shalom. And we will deal with how Yahweh will redeem his people with order number 3. Shalom.
Arise, shine, for the light has come. The glory of Yah has risen up on his sons and his daughters. The darkness is uncoverable. Sheets of our lovers were perverted till we burn. So now it's time to return back to Yah, our city of refuge. The fountains of living waters. This showers me with righteousness, restores my order, and turns this pawn to a king. A song for my soul to sing that brought me down very low. My garments white like the wings. Shaddai, praises be the Most High that brought me out of insanity, crushed the towers of vanity, and made a man of me. I'm now asking for a key, no longer my refugee. I'm now Yah's planet C.
We gon' march to the city of God. We gon' dance, we gon' sing, we gon' run to the city, we gon' fly to the city of God. We gon' march in the city of God. We gon' dance, we gon' sing, we gon' run to the city, run to the city
1,000 meters were measure waters came to your ankles. The method did repeat. Waters came right to your knee. Before you further Joe goings, waters came to your loins. 1,000 measures and the last, a river you could not pass. Everything that touched the waters was healed. Plenty of your fish left to swim. There was meat from the trees, nourished the bodies from leaves. The vision I seen was more than a dream. Waters flow on sides of sanctuary. My heart had joy and merit. I'm renovating my soul until we make it home. Foolish sins forever gone. Got spirit resting on my bones. Brothers and sisters, you with me? Let's purge ourselves really quickly. Make our souls polished and spiffy. So we gone.
We gon' march to see it. We gon' dance, we gon' sleep, we gon' run to see, run to, we gon' fly to see it. We gon' march to see it. We gon' dance, we gon' sleep, we gon' run to see, run to see it.
It's a praises to the Most High for getting me out, for blessing me with understanding know what you talking about. My sins are too many. I thought another God could save. To you will woke me from a slumber, pull me right from my grave. And now that I'm saved, I'm blessed to know or understand truth. That no blessing, the curses coming, least is coming through you. I sing praises to my Yah, to my very last breath, and use your laws as a ladder if I ever misstep. Let's praise the Most High, Yah, pay His holy name. Regard, we have come a long way.